Welcome to the show. I'm Sergeant Richard Lloyd, Public Information Officer for the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office. And with me I have Sheriff Bob Johnson. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Isn't this like 3 weeks in a row?
It is. It is. I'm surprised.
And you know why I'm
You're
here,
a busy
right?
man.
Because he's so excited all the time. You see that intro? Hey, welcome to your Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office. He's thrilled to be here.
Yeah, I am. I really am. I am thrilled to be here.
Okay,
I just have a lot on my mind.
That's okay. No worries.
People think it's easy writing these scripts and getting all this stuff done.
And actually, you make it more difficult because while you're doing it, you got that solitaire game up on the computer, and you're like doing this, and you're like, so if you'd focus more, it would be easier. But
they don't have solitaire anymore on computers.
What's our first topic?
Hot topic. Yeah, let's move on. Thank you, Sheriff. Appreciate it. First, 2019 National Enforcement Mobilization of Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over is in effect.
You said all that, and I'll say this. Don't drink and drive. A lot more simple, straightforward, to the point. We do a lot of DUIs. As a matter of fact, I went on UCR a while back, and I showed you this. During the first half of last year, we had more DUIs in Santa Rosa County than Orange County Sheriff's Office did in their county. And their county's population is 1.3 million.
Now, why do you think?
I think because we're very aggressive on it. We don't pull punches when it comes to driving while intoxicated, because we have some fatalities in our county every year because of that. So we don't tolerate it. So if you're drinking and driving, and nowadays there's no excuse for it. You have Uber. I mean, how hard is it to get on your phone and do an Uber?
And Lyft, it's another one.
You know, because I'm technically challenged, and I can call an Uber. I mean, that's not that difficult.
Yeah.
Don't say it.
I'm not saying a word. So, yes, so the national mobilization for that word, just DUI, don't drink and drive. It's in effect. We are going to be aggressively looking out for intoxicated drivers, and we have the grant here in Santa Rosa County.
We do. That
we could get additional officers for that, and they're very aggressive, so don't do it.
Yeah, so what he's talking about is we have a grant from, it's a federal grant just for DUI. So we have guys that come out on their off days, and they'll work this grant for 8 hours, and all they do is DUI enforcement. They don't respond to calls. They don't do other stuff. They just do DUI enforcement, and usually there's 3 or 4 working at a time in the evening. So if a regular deputy pulls over DUI that works his own, he'll call them. They'll come take the DUI, and then he could go back to answering calls.
Yep. I'm working it really hard. So I'm going to let you take the next topic. Great information, great news. All yours, sir.
Okay. So everybody's been seeing on social media about Nick Hubbard, Deputy Nick Hubbard. 26 years old, got a kid that's now, I think, 1.5. He had just bought a house in Navarre, beautiful wife, and he gets a diagnosis of cancer. And it's really bad. So they put him through chemotherapy. It doesn't work. So they finally tell him, they say, look, Nick, the only thing you got is the Mayo Clinic up in D.C., and that's all we got. So they sent him to the Mayo Clinic. He had a bone marrow transplant. He called me all depressed, said it didn't take, and he didn't know what was going to happen next. Well, the next thing you know, about 2 weeks later, I get a phone call. They did a PET scan on him, and he's in 100% remission, cancer-free. And even the doctors don't know how that happened.
That's awesome.
That is incredible. So we're really happy for him and his family. He's on his way back down here. They're going to try to find a house to buy, because they sold theirs because they thought they were going to be up in D.C. for 3 or 4 years trying to beat this cancer. So he's coming back, and we can't wait to get him back in uniform and get him on the road.
We just made a Facebook post where you could see some of his success, and congratulations. Yeah. All our prayers have been with the family.
I'm telling you, it's great. It's fantastic.
Can't wait to get him back.
I'm telling you.
Milton shooting. So we had a shooting in Milton the other day, and I know we weren't lead on that, but we did have some participation.
No, we weren't, but we locked down some schools in Milton, and we got some calls from some parents, some of them irate, some of them understood, Basically what happened was 2 14-year-olds playing with a handgun, which is not going to end well. One shoots the other in the head. He drops the gun, runs. We end up finding them at Milton High School and taking them into custody for Milton PD. And they did an investigation. Well, here's the whole bottom line. If we lock down schools in Santa Rosa County in an area and your child is in that school, you're going to have to trust us on this. You're not getting in the school. If you respond to, let's say, Milton High School and it's in a lockdown and you come there, you're not getting in the school. Most deputies can't get in the school unless they have the special cards. Most of us have special cards where we can buzz in because of an active shooter, but you're not getting in. All you're going to do is add to the problem. And if it's a lockdown, it's usually for something off campus that we don't want to come on campus. So, and that's what happened. We locked down, I think, King Middle and Milton High School. And so we got an influx of parents wanting to get their kids and everything. And it's, trust us, you know, they're locked in with an armed deputy. So we're going to take care of business, and we will definitely protect your children. So one thing leads to another, and I believe the person who left the gun unsecured was arrested by Milton PD yesterday.
Yes. Yep.
So this is the thing. If you have a handgun in your house, secure it, please, or things like this will happen. And the kid that got shot in the head, I think, is actually going to be okay, but that's a miracle in itself. You get shot in the head with a handgun and you live, that's, you know, you're doing pretty good.
I do want to mention something. Daniel Hahn, who's our security director for the Board of Education, wanted to just clarify one small detail, but it's important for the parents, is there's two different types of security procedures that we go through. One is called the lockdown, where the threat is at the school. That is a lockdown. If you hear the term secure facility, what we're doing is we're securing the facility, no one's allowed in and out, we're bringing in the kids that are outside, but school is normal inside. And that would be the case such as this, where the school, the threat wasn't on the campus in some of the schools, and it was called a secure facility. Everything's going on like normal. Now in the lockdown, Sheriff, that's where you hide under desks, classroom, you know, stops, theoretically.
Right.
And everything is just shut down. So we did want to make that clarification on lockdown versus secure facility.
And you know, to parents, you hear secured facility or lockdown, you think you're scared for your child, and we get that. But trust us, we're going to, we made the effort of putting an armed officer in every single school in this county, and they're marked patrol cars sitting out front of that school. We're going to take care of business, and we will protect your children. That's a promise I give to you personally. And so rushing to the school is not going to make a difference. All it's going to do is add to the problem. And believe me, if your child individually is involved in something bad at the school, you're going to be the first one to get a phone call. So if you don't get that phone call, don't worry.
And you know, Sheriff, usually when we have a situation like this, it's not just the one school resource officer.
Oh, no.
Everybody comes. It's just, you get deputies everywhere.
Yes.
Next up, Sheriff, Moments for Heroes, Emerald Coast Boat Show tickets.
Tickets, $5 at our office, and call Tammy, 983-1100. All proceeds are going to Nick Hubbard, and you're saying, well, he's in remission. He still has a lot of medical bills and things he has to pay for, so that's why we're doing that. So
let's go to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Have you ever laid in bed and wonder what your future is going to be like? I do, and I often wonder what it's like to be a deputy. How would I look in a uniform? What's on that belt? What's the car look like inside? Who would I work with? What's it like to help others in need? What's it like to fight crime? One day, I'm gonna know.
It's a dream come true to become a deputy for Santa Rosa County. It was one of my goals I had in life. Try and become a deputy before age 30, and I did it. I always wanted a brother. Now I have a ton of brothers. You know, we're always having each other's backs. And that's that kind of close-knit family that you just can't get in any other kind of job. I'm patrolling Paradise. I work where people come to vacation, and that's amazing.
And welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. So we do have a lot of stuff that we need to continue talking about. One of them is vehicle burglaries in Santa Rosa County. We will mention this on every single show that we have until...
Let me tell you, I know you hear it ad nauseum, but it's crazy. We have so many vehicle burglaries, and we don't say break-ins because they're not breaking in. They're opening the doors and stealing stuff. It's crazy. I mean, and nowadays with the key fob, all you had to do is push a button. Mm-hmm. I mean, back in the olden days when I got my first car, I had to walk outside, open each door, push the button down, and go. Now you just push a button, and you're good. So please lock your cars.
Your first car in law enforcement was what?
1976 Plymouth Volare.
Wow. Okay.
Next subject.
That was that was for the other.
Everybody, hey, this is a special show. You see these? He's got them this time.
Next They're Velcro, right?
Next time, maybe not so lucky. Okay.
Next is the large arrest that we did a press conference on, which correlates with vehicle burglaries.
It was vehicle burglaries, yeah. A bunch of vehicle burglaries occurred in Okaloosa County, so this is not just our problem, it's everybody's. So 65 cars, I believe was the total, got broken into in Destin and Fort Walton. Well, they tracked down the suspects. They got a good idea where they were at. They were in our county. We went to the house. We detained a bunch of people and got a search warrant and cleared all the cases in Okaloosa County for Destin and Fort Walton Beach. Made how many arrests? 5?
There were 5 arrests.
5 arrests. So got a lot of stolen property back for the people over there, and it was a good job between working with Okaloosa and us.
Fort Walton.
And Fort Walton PD, yeah.
Yep. Next up is school is in session. It is that time of year, so what we're asking everyone to do, and you know, let's show this photo real quick before we get started. That kind of gets us in the mood, and this is one of our deputies up at J Elementary. Love that photo.
Yeah, that's good. That's good right there. And you know, that's what they're there. You know, obviously we're there to mitigate an active shooter, but we're also there for the kids. You know, and when you get kids that small that can come to a deputy sheriff and they know they'll get help, you know, when they grow up and they're in their teen years and early 20s, they understand that law enforcement's here to help, as opposed to only have an interaction with them in a really, really bad situation. You know, then you grow up thinking, well, the only time you see a cop is if something bad happens.
Yeah.
So we want to get over that. We want to have that relationship, and that's a great photograph. That really
It is. It's awesome. So we just want to pass along some information we got from the SROs, considering that we just got started, and that is pay attention to law enforcement instructions at schools. A lot of activity, a lot of traffic, people coming in, coming out. Just make sure you follow law enforcement's recommendations when it comes to moving you around.
Yeah.
In school zones, remember, 20 miles an hour.
Yeah, please, 20 miles an hour, and we're going to have every school zone that we can cover, we're going to have a cop out there, and they're going to write tickets. Because if you got to pay attention, especially if you're on the phone, which you know you're not supposed to be nowadays, and you come through there doing 40, 50, and we get them that fast, you're going to get a ticket, trust me. So that's what they're there for. And also football games. It's football season, and we all love football games. You're going to see a couple of different things here, and Rich is going to talk about what you can and can't bring, but I want to talk about, I talked with Tim Rosdick, the school superintendent, and we've decided that a couple of the deputies that are working these off-duty games are going to have M4s, which are long guns. They're like an AR-15, but it's a tactical version that we use. And you're going to see them walking around. They're going to be slung in front of them, and they're going to be walking around just like the other deputies. That's not because of any increased threat that we've received from a certain individual or whatever. You're going to see that all the ball games, and it's there just because if somebody does happen to show up to a game with a long gun, we're going to have a couple of those guys there that hopefully can take care of it for us. So don't see that at a football game and go, oh, somebody must have called in a threat. Nope, you're going to see them all season long.
Great point. I think it's a great idea. The other thing is during football games, and I went to the Navarre High School football game versus Gulf Breeze the other day.
Yeah, Friday.
And man, you just getting into that place was
crazy.
Crazy, and the amount of people that were there just surreal.
And you know, it's only going to get worse.
It is. It is. And remember, the school board website gives you information as to what you can and can't bring. But remember, the 6x12x12 bags are the only thing, or small, that you can bring. So no backpacks whatsoever. They will be searched. And that's what's taken a long time for people to get into these games. Zero tolerance for violence as well. In that game in Navarre and Gulf Breeze, there was some issues that took place. There were several arrests. And we try to do these, you know, really low key so it doesn't distract from the game. But unfortunately, it happens, and we're going to continue to do so. Zero tolerance on violence. Yeah,
if you get in a fight at the game, or you pick a fight at the game, or you have a problem controlling your temper, and you get in a fight or whatever, we are going to arrest you. It's not going to be a matter of, maybe we'll do it later with the warrant. No, we're going to arrest you right then and there, and we're sending the message that we're not going to put up with this at our schools. Even football games, when you know you have a lot of adults there, it's still a kid's function. It's for high school. And we're going to take care of business. If people want to come there and fight, we'll fix that. Also, tobacco use in schools has been a huge issue this year already. Oh, yeah. And speaking to the school resource officer supervisors, there have already been a couple dozen citations written for tobacco use. And that includes these vaping pens, which I doubt parents are buying them for the kids. No. So make sure you don't do that. And that also includes parents. You know, there's some times that we see parents smoking cigarettes on school property, and again, that is against policy, so you make sure you do not do that. And it's $30 for the citation. It is. Yeah, it is. And also, next up is my favorite thing, hurricane season. Yes. Boy, am I excited about that. We got something brewing right now. Did you see the latest Dorian, on that? Yeah, I know. It's always something. For, you know, you live in paradise, you got to put up with some things. But hurricane season, the main thing we want to tell you is rip currents. If you see the red flag, don't swim. And if you're gonna swim, make sure there's lifeguards. If there are no lifeguards, please don't get in the water. We have so many people that come here on vacation, think that it's the same as swimming in a lake back home, and it's not. You get in there and you get caught in a rip current, you can be killed, okay? If you don't know what to do, you're going to die. And basically what you do is you swim parallel to the beach until you feel it let go, then swim in. If you try to swim against it, you're not gonna make it.
Do you remember a couple of years ago, we actually had a military person that was an active and heavily involved swimmer that lost his life, and he was trained.
Yeah.
Very sad situation.
Yeah.
Also, with the hurricane taking place, remember, Alert Santa Rosa is what emergency management uses to communicate information to the general public. So you may want to go to their website, which is santarosa.fl.gov. And on there, tons of information. You'll be able to get everything from emergency notifications, hazmat, shelter in places, roadway closures, floods, anything that's of a mass notification, you'll be able to get through there. And we highly suggest that you sign up for that, because even if we have an issue or an incident, we will give that to them.
There's also alertsantarosa.com, which is an emergency management website you can go to as well. So just be prepared, because it's hurricane season, and hurricane season lasts all the way through November.
Yes.
And I guess, historically, the worst time is September, October. That's the worst time for us. So we're not through it by a long shot. So be prepared, and remember, the first 3 days are on you. So the first 72 is on you.
Let's do this. We got a ton of more information, and we'll be right back after this commercial.
Okay, sir, this is a citation for speed. However, I did give you your break, but you need to do me a favor, slow on down, just because of the fact that, it is dangerous out here speeding right here. So do me a favor, slowing down. Whoa! Slowing down. Whoa! Wow. That's the reason why you got to have a move-over law in effect to save somebody's life.
Hi, I'm Santa Rosa County Sheriff Bob Johnson, asking you to please remember to move over so all of us can come home safely.
From that first day when I started hearing stories about what law enforcement actually, entailed, I was hooked. I'm very involved with, being on the SWAT team. It's my niche, if you will. I take pride in what I do. And my wife grew up in Santa Rosa County. I have, 2 children, one on the way. I try to be the best husband and father I can be. Hopefully at the end of the day it'll make me a better cop as well.
I am Michael Ramirez, and I am proud to be a Santa Rosa County Deputy Sheriff.
And welcome back. Our favorite part of the show, the Wanted Fugitives from Santa Rosa County Crime Stoppers Program.
Woohoo!
You ready, Sheriff?
I'm ready. Go ahead.
I'm going first. So first is Wesley Jerrod Simmons, and he's wanted for order revoking bond, violation of probation, fleeing and eluding law enforcement, driving while license suspended, actually 3 times, failure to appear, failure to obey law enforcement officer to stop. Oh boy. Tons and tons of driving issues.
Drive while license suspended.
Don't hire him as your Uber. Wesley's a black male, 36 years of age, 6'5", 290 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes, and he is violent. So you may have any contact law enforcement or Crime Stoppers.
He's also wanted for assaulting a law enforcement officer. So that tells you what kind of guy he is. All right, next up, Christopher Earl Elliott, wanted for possession of a controlled substance without a prescription, possession of marijuana less than 20, possession and or use of drug equipment. He is a white male, 40 years old, approximately 6 foot, 240 pounds, with red hair and green eyes.
Next up, Christina N Belle, and she's wanted by the Florida Highway Patrol for hit and run, leaving a scene of a crash involving damage to property, driving while license suspended, grand theft of a motor vehicle. So Christina is a white female, 38 years of age, 5'4", 130 pounds, with brown hair and hazel eyes.
Dusty Lewis Strickland, wanted for failure to appear, grand theft less than $3,000. He's a white male, 28 years old, 5'8", 160 pounds, with brown hair and blue eyes.
And next up is Sammy Lee Nord, and he's wanted for an order revoking bond, battery causing bodily harm, domestic violence. Sammy is a white male, 29 years of age, 5'11", 180 pounds, with brown hair and blue eyes.
Kaylin J. Joyner, wanted for failure to appear for DUI. She's a white female, 27 years old, approximately 4'10", 195 pounds, with red hair and green eyes.
Next up, Corey Allen Flachowski, and he's wanted for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, 2 counts. And Corey is a white male, 36 years of age, 6 foot tall, 175 pounds, brown hair and blue eyes.
Kennedy Renee Eskew, wanted for failure to appear DUI and operate motor vehicle without valid license. She's a white female, 19 years old. She's approximately 5 foot, 115 pounds, brown hair, and blue eyes.
And next up, Stephen Christian Ryan. He's wanted for a failure to appear on an assault, intent to do violence, following, harass, cyberstalk, and other. Failed to leave property upon order of the owner. And Stephen is a white male, 23 years of age, 5'10", 200 pounds, with brown hair and blue eyes.
And last but not least, Austin Lee Roach, wanted for burglary to an occupied dwelling, grand theft less than $5,000. White male, 21 years old, 5'7", 160 pounds, brown hair, and blue eyes.
So if you have any information in reference to these individuals' location, contact Santa Rosa County Crime Stoppers, 437-STOP, where you can be eligible for a reward up to $3,000. What would you do with $3 grand right now?
$3 grand? I don't know. I'd probably take the wife out to dinner, movie, that kind of thing, put the rest in the bank.
Good. Good.
And also remember, at the time of the viewing, the show, these people are wanted. So double check; they may have been arrested. So
absolutely, great point, Sheriff. And let's continue with hurricane preparation. Sand. So we have sand placement locations throughout Santa Rosa County. And just remember, emergency management will advise that, as well as the sheriff's office. We do share a lot of information between each other, and no sand bags, just the sand. So that's available at like a Lowe's or
Home Depot or something.
Home Depot.
Yeah. And as I said before the break, 3 days of supplies per person. The first 72 is on you, because there's no telling if we can get to you. I remember after Hurricane Ivan, we had to cut our way down Highway 98 to get to the subdivisions and drag trees and air conditioners and Coke machines out of the way just to get emergency equipment down 98. So 3 days of stuff you need per person, water and food and things like that.
You know, one of the things that I was just talking to our emergency manager about, which I didn't even think of, is everyone rushes to the store to get milk, eggs, all that other stuff. And you wipe out the stores, and then the stores have difficulty coming in. Well, one of the things you also need to consider is you have water at your house. You got tap water. So fill up your bathtub, fill up any containers. A cooler, you can fill with water. And you have water. You don't necessarily have to buy all the stuff off the shelf. I thought that was something brilliant. I didn't even think of it. And of course, that's what emergency management does. They think of this.
That's all they do, sit around, think stuff up. That's what they do.
Evacuation. If we do have to evacuate, just pay special attention to the messages that are being given out. And evacuations are based upon where you live and your flood zone. And one of the things that I just found out, Sheriff, and I didn't know this, is we do not have any shelters south of I-10.
Yeah, there's a reason for that. If you saw the damage from Hurricane Ivan, South I-10 was a war zone. So yeah, we stayed down there. I stayed down in Navarre for Ivan, and I'll tell you right now, we stayed at Navarre High School, and I knew we were in trouble when I looked outside, and going down High School Boulevard doing about 25 miles an hour was a big construction dumpster, not a little one, a big one, and it was doing about 25 miles an hour down the road. I figured we were in trouble then. So if you live south of I-10 and a bad hurricane's coming, evacuate, because once it hits and you dial 911, we're not coming. We can't come out until the storm's gone, and even then we're going to have to cut our way into most people's yards and stuff. So yeah.
Also, radios, have a radio with batteries, be prepared. Now this thing that's in the Gulf now, it may turn, we don't know what it's going to do, but just prepare, have that
well,
bag
it's not
ready.
in the Gulf, it's in the Caribbean right now. Dorian?
It's supposed to cut over.
Right, but it's got to cross the peninsula first, and they don't know where it's going to cross. So hopefully it'll miss us. Yeah, hopefully it'll miss us, but there's no telling.
So law enforcement, let's talk about what law enforcement does during a hurricane. Sheriff?
Yeah, well, like I said, we're going to, I guess, shelter in place in certain areas of the county. They'll be in Milton at our main facility, which is hurricane rated, and then like Navarre High School for the south end. And what happens is, as soon as the storm's gone, we come out with chainsaws and four-wheel drive vehicles and winches, and we clear the main thoroughfares first. We get us up 98, 87, 90. We clear those first, so emergency vehicles, ambulances, fire trucks, whoever, Gulf Power, can get down these roads to get to you. So that's the very first thing we do, and then we start answering calls. And unfortunately for us, like during the hurricane, we got 911 calls from Navarre Beach during Ivan's landfall, and we had already been door to door down there telling people, leave, you have to leave. We're not going to force you, but you need to leave. If you dial 911, we're not coming. And sure enough, it hits. They're dialing 911 saying water's rising in my house. What do I do? well, we can't come help you. So that's why we insist on a lot of people evacuating, and some people still don't. But
I was talking to EM again before this, and they said if Michael had hit Santa Rosa, the effect of that, if you were to take where it laid and overlay it on Santa Rosa, it would have affected everything from the beach all the way up to the state line of Florida and Alabama.
Yeah.
So it is quite significant.
Yeah.
And we also have, we can pull a curfew, right? Is that what we do?
Yeah, the sheriff is, by law, once we're declared a disaster area, I can do a lot of things. I can enforce a curfew. I also can make it to where you can't, I can basically revoke concealed weapon carry, which I don't do, but you can do that by law. But we put in a curfew usually, and anybody caught out after that gets arrested, because if you're out after 10 p.m., when everything's destroyed, you're up to no good anyways. So we do stuff like that, but hopefully we don't have to worry about it.
No, and also one thing I want to mention real quick is that if we do have a situation like that, expect unusual uniforms, because we get mutual aid from all across the state.
Everywhere.
So
Everywhere.
you may not just see this uniform.
No.
You could see just about anything.
You'll see Miami PD. During Ivan, we had people from Tampa, Pinellas, Miami. They all came up here to help, so you'll see a bunch of different uniforms. But if they have a badge and a gun, they're there to help.
Yeah. So if you have any questions or anything at all, remember, we can take your questions here on Facebook. Go to our Facebook page, send us a message. We'll be happy to answer your question on television. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Sheriff, thanks for coming again.
Yeah, no problem. Hopefully I can make it 4 in a row.
I was going to ask if we're going to make 4.
My schedule, there's no telling.
Great. We'll see you guys on the next show. Take care.
Take care.